we have a time machine today, a product that's 70 years old, being manufactured by a company that's 113 years old. Say hello to the Morgan Plus 4. You're going to be asking me, what am I doing with this old car? This is a Morgan Plus 4. So, what makes it unique and special? Well, first of all, it is completely hand-built in the UK, obviously. They are the pioneers of coach building cars, and this is a coach-built masterpiece. If you haven't heard of the Morgan Motor Company, chances are that you're not a hardcore auto enthusiast. But in case you have heard of it, you know that these are designed not for just A to B transportation. They're designed for the hardcore driving enthusiasm and entertainment that this car can provide. One of the reasons that you may not have heard about the Morgan Motor Company is because they fly under the radar. They produce approximately 850 cars a year. So that's a very small number. And it's not some high-tech facility in the UK, but a red brick house in Melbourne. 850 cars only? You would be thinking that's nothing. Well, yeah, that's nothing, but you have to keep in mind that all of the cars built at Morgan are built by hand. 500 workers assemble and build the car by hand. That is true coach built. At the same time, you can actually imagine all the workers wearing dungarees like they used to do back in the day, and you can imagine them working not in color but in black and white. That's how I feel when I imagine the Morgan factory. The founder of Morgan first built a car because he wanted a runabout for himself, and started building the first Morgan three-wheeler, which is sold even till date, but is a more modernized version of it. Before they went on to produce four-seater cars, 14 years after the first three-wheel production car started, Morgan went on to win a lot of endurance races, making the car historically significant and giving it race pedigree and prestige at the same time. Now the Plus 4 is being built for 70 odd years and was known as the 4x4 earlier. Then it became known as the Plus 4, and this is still the most modernized version of the Plus 4. Morgan back in the day used to make the chassis out of wood. So the entire structure underneath it was made of wood, which is now made of a structure called CX, which is bonded aluminium. CX also is 110 years, which is the age of Morgan in Latin numbers. But obviously, with modern days and techniques, they have to modernize. So hence, we have the most modern version of the Plus 4. But they still stay true to their heritage of coach building cars. So everything that you see on this car, externally and internally on the interiors, is hand built. This entire beautiful body, this entire coach line, the entire silhouette of this car is hand built. These slats over here, all four sides are hand built. The interiors are put together by hand, and that's what adds character and quirkiness to this car. If you're a fan or want to be a fan, a clear way to identify if a car like this is a Morgan is by the vertical slats over here. This grille is a trademark Morgan grille. Obviously, you have the wings with the Morgan logo and the British flag, and the four headlight structure, quintessentially identifiable as a Morgan. Now, the car is very simple to look at. Interesting bits are the three wipers. The only other car that has three wipers today in production is the Hummer EV. You have the retro style rims, front and back, and then you have a removable fabric soft top which folds back. In fact, even the side windows can be removed out for that perfect driving open experience. It's very cool to open the hood of this car, but I'm not doing it because it's freaking hot in Dubai and the entire structure is hot after driving and because of the sun directly on it. So I'm not going to burn my hands by doing it. But I can put a B-roll of it at a later point of time or a media roll so that you guys can see how it opens and closes. For the interiors, Morgan has adapted the KISS strategy. Keep it simple, silly. No buttons, no traction control, no infotainment, nothing to distract you from the driving experience. And that's what I love about it. This car is designed to get in and drive. That's it. Forget your worries, forget your job, forget what's going on in your home or whatever. Get out and drive. Enjoy that driving moment. Enjoy that driving pleasure. Feel connected to the car and the environment around you. That's what this car is supposed to do. But yes, it does have some modern tricks like a functional AC, a modern 8-speed ZF transmission from BMW, Bluetooth audio as well if you want to spec that. But everything else is analog. You have these beautiful minimalist analog dials. Yes, a small digital screen telling you about the kilometers you have driven and the trip meter. A small digital screen over here just telling your speed and the gear you're in. That's about it. Everything else is as analog as it gets. There's leather, there's wood, there's knurled aluminium, leather again. Beautiful, beautiful cabin. Now, because this is a coach-built car, that means everything is built as per the specs you provide them. Morgan can give you whatever you want. Choose the interior of the seats, stitching, color of wood. If you want this finish, something else. You want decals on the car, external paint, whatever you want, Morgan can give you that. I highly suggest you to go and play with the configurator. It's a lot of fun. The Morgan Plus 4 is a very quirky car. Because it's such a small, nifty little thing, there is absolutely no storage in the car except for this net over here. So you and your passenger are going to struggle with whatever you need to keep. Phones, wallets, sunglasses, no cup holders in this car. There is no space for it. Also, can you all see this over here, down here? Now, to most people, it will look like a blood pressure machine, but it is not. This pump is used for creating lumbar support for your back, and then the same release is used to release that lumbar support. Most people don't know how to use it till you use it. And for all the people who are Gen Z, well, they have digital blood pressure machines, and probably the Apple Watch can tell you your blood pressure as well. But this is for people old school who know how to use a manual pump and check blood pressure manually. They know what this is. Very quirky. The other fun fact that you guys need to know is it has two clasps over here. So once you open these clasps, you can manually put the roof down, and then when you want to close the roof, you manually put it up and then attach these clasps. Now, I tried to do it single-handedly. I could get the roof up and down, but putting the clasp on is a two-man job. Unless you find a way to hack it, then you can do it single-handedly, but I could not. I needed one more person with me to actually latch on the roof and then unlock it and stow it back. Now, when you sit in the driver's seat, you can see an S Plus mode over here, which is the Sports Plus, which is this car goes all out. But you can't just press S Plus and drive. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to push the gear lever down to drive and then move it to Sport and then press Sport Plus. That's what happens. And you can definitely hear the engine sound and the note change instantly. It drives differently as well. You get all the torque, you get all the power from a low gear. The car even holds the gear longer, making it more engaging and always keeping it in the right power band. Time to take it for a spin. It will spin every single time you floor it. Now this may look like an old school car, but in its heart it has a modern BMW engine. The 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine producing 250 horsepower, and it does 0 to 100 in 4.8 seconds. Now you may think, what's the point of a 2-liter engine in this, but believe me, for a car that weighs close to 900 kilos, which is very light, it's enough, because it bloody wheel spins every time you floor it, and it's a proper hoot to drive. Decide to push it, the entire chassis, which is made of bonded aluminium, flexes and turns, and you can feel all of that happening from the steering wheel, and it's just so much fun to push around. You necessarily don't have to be fast, you just need to be accurate with your input, and the car behaves with so much fun. But yeah, this car if I floor it now, it's going to wheel spin as well all over the place, and it's just a hoot to drive. The steering is not the most precise or the most accurate, but it weighs up nicely. It gives you that play which you want in a car like this. So with the steering play, with the responsive engine, well, the engine has a bit of turbo lag in traffic and when you're driving around normally, but move it to Sport Plus, you don't have any turbo lag. Sports Plus, the fun steering wheel, the playful chassis with the flex in it, this car is just an occasion. It's momentous. Every time you drive it, it's like a big moment. It brings so many smiles from people around you. Everybody turns to look at you. No other supercar or hypercar gets as many looks as this car gets. That is how cool it is. Now you may be thinking, this guy is talking rubbish. 4-cylinder, 2-liter, small car, tight, but it can keep up with everybody else in traffic or on a twisty bit of road. You're open with the elements, so that gives you that sense of connect with the world outside. You can hear the engine, which sounds very good. It's a nice, grumbly, aggressive engine. You can hear that, and you can feel the air with the top down if you require it. I've closed it so I can record this and get the audio in properly. The windows go out. There's so much that this small quirky car offers. It's worth every bit of money. Yes, the brakes take some getting used to, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be willing to drive this little nifty piece around everywhere. See that guy, how he was looking at me? Just on the phone. It's a Morgan. They don't even know what that is. They think it's an old car, but it is not. It's a modern car with a chassis that's hand-built, coach-built, like days of old. See, everybody waves out at you. Every single person is willing to stand next to you, wave out to you, smile at you, say hi to you, because this car just brings out their inner child. Very few cars do that. You know, big expensive cars, people get afraid, or they think you're a rich guy, that's it, just another rich person. Very few cars bring out that inner child in you like this car does. Now when it comes to ride and handling, well, ride basically, if you're going to be driving around cobblestone roads, yes, it's going to be a bit tricky. You're going to feel every single bump and thunk and unevenness on the surface. But if you're driving around paved roads, or if you're driving around highways, it's fine. It's perfectly easy to do. It's easy to park. I took it to the mall yesterday. Yes, there's no place for shopping unless you use the passenger seat, but otherwise it's a brilliant hoot to drive. I honestly am in love with this car. You know, in Dubai we have a lot of highways and huge highways, and I was a bit terrified as to how I would drive this car on those highways, but it was surprisingly easy. The visibility is brilliant. You can see pretty much everything from all the windows, and if you want to change lanes, you don't need to use these flimsy side mirrors because they become useless, because when you're driving fast they all get like, they misplace where they are, they kind of get lost, so you end up just looking around and changing lanes or merging and doing all the necessary things. Very old school, just like what our grandfathers did back in the day, or grandparents to be accurate. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, when I'm parking this car, you can even spec this with a manual. So if you're one of those people who
said the manuals, then you can buy one with a manual. Honestly, I'm okay with the auto box because I know how laggy it can get in traffic and how hot it can get in Dubai when you're driving it in the summer. So I'm okay to have a little bit of comfort in a car which I would maybe want to daily drive. And you can daily drive this, honestly you can. You just need to know how to manage your parking in places where people will come and touch the car or whatever, but honestly you can drive this around daily. There's no problem with it.
So you're going to be asking me, how much is it for and is it worth buying? Well, the price is roughly around 400,000 dirhams, depending on how you spec it, option it and customize it, or roughly around $110,000. But is it worth it? Would you buy this over anything else that's available in the market? Well, you can drive this daily. Don't get me wrong. You can drive this anywhere you want, except getting your groceries or shopping because there is no storage space on it. But if you're not going shopping, you just drive from point A to point B, you can actually do this on a daily basis and look super cool. It's 38, 40 degrees Celsius in Dubai today, and I'm driving this car around all day long with the roof up and the AC on, and I'm completely fine. Yes, you would need to add a phone holder or something that way to keep your phone in there if you want to look at your phone. Otherwise, you don't need that. Just drive for fun, drive for your enjoyment. So in that sense, it can be your daily car or your one-car garage. But for most people, it will not be. It will just be a toy. It will be a car purely designed for driving purposes. For your early morning or late night drives, hang out with your friends, go for a cars and coffee meet, go just chill, go up the mountain road, or take your favorite road just as a way of de-stressing from your daily grind. And for that, this car is a perfect tick mark. It ticks that box. So, should you buy it? I say yes. If you need variety in your garage, if you need something wholesome, you should buy the Morgan Plus 4. If you want to spend more money, you can go and buy the Morgan Plus 6. But if you want the ultimate driving experience from Morgan, you have to go and buy the Super 3, which we will be reviewing as well. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and like, comment, share, subscribe at the Cornea Impression. Ciao.